All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's good? Welcome to the Forbidden Juice podcast. It's your boy AD.
True function, what it is.
RJ, what's going on, people?
And this is the Forbidden Juice, where we spill the juice on all things forbidden. Do you dare take a sip?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So, anybody who's wondering who the disembodied voice is, that is True Function, whose camera has died on him yet again today. He needs to up his camera game. It's all right, we understand, but we move.
Low-key,
we move. So,
low key, you've got my webcam, so it's cool.
If I didn't remind you of that literally before we started recording, that you wouldn't even be using that as an excuse. But I digress. Let's get right into, well, first off, before we get into today's topic, I did explain this with Raf before we jumped into the chat, but I would like to spend literally about 5 or 10 minutes just talking about Kobe Bryant, because this is the first episode of the podcast that we've been able to record since his passing. So literally just a little, let's just talk, because I mean, us as guys, we've not actually talked about Kobe's passing. So what do you guys, think about it, feel about it, the impact it's had, yada yada yada? Like, what's on your mind when it comes to Kobe?
Kobe. It's sad, man. He didn't deserve to die at that age. It's just, you can see how much of an inspiration he was to the world. Like, it's like almost the whole world stopped when he passed away. And I just remember in that group, that WhatsApp group that we're in, when Pierce sent that TMZ.
Boy.
Like, all of us automatically said that's fake. I said that's fake.
Yeah, because TMZ in it.
Yeah,
was
like
the
it's
one that broke it.
TMZ, bro. Like,
That's a mad thing.
We all said it's fake, and then I was on YouTube, literally just listening to this person that was like, doing live, and everybody was just saying it was fake, and then just news outlets from everywhere started just coming in. Oh, it's confirmed. For a long time, I just didn't believe it was real, and then and then straight away I tried to call my boy, because my boy is like the biggest Kobe fan in the whole entire world. That he's such a big fan. Made sure that he was okay, because I know Kobe meant so much to him. And just for me personally, like, yeah, I adore Kobe as well. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm the biggest fan like some other people are, but it's like I respect for what he's done in the game. He's a legend. You know what I mean? He's done so much for the NBA, and he was continuing to do so much for basketball in general after. And it's like what some of the journalists and people were saying. It's like he was going in his second phase of life. He had his Mamba team with his daughter, and they'll do movements. He will still pop up in the NBA for whatever random reasons or whatever they're doing. It's just a shame, man. Like, rest in power, Kobe, man. Rest in power. Rest in power, Kobe, and everybody that lost their lives in the helicopter. Let's not forget about the other guys, man.
Yeah. That's dope. Yeah, because I feel the same way, man. Yeah.
Well, that's it, Tope.
It's I can't claim to be as affected as others, in terms of him passing, but I do know about his effect on the world, and that is not something you overlook. I also understand that he left. I don't know, man. I'm in two minds about it, to be honest. And I'll just simple it to this, man. I just shout outs to him and his family. I feel like for his wife to lose not just the love of your life, but also a daughter. I feel that's brutal, man. That's brutal. That is very brutal. I could see, before even him passing, I didn't know he was training his daughter like that. I know he had a daughter, but I didn't know he was training his daughter like that. And afterwards, I was drawn attention to what she was doing, and it was very much like he was keeping the legacy alive in his daughter, and that was amazing, man. And then also the stuff that he was doing with Black Mamba, he was doing a lot. It's not just on the court and what he was doing to help the court, but even outside the court. Some of the stuff I was trying to read up of what he was up to was he was trying to fight Big Pharma, also try and help with prison reform. So he was doing a lot. And my only thing is, to those that are suffering, I feel like he's passed the baton on. There won't be another Kobe Bryant, but there probably may be room for someone else to take that spot, because he's already graced the earth. He's he's done what he has to do, and I don't know, because people say he's too young and stuff. Anyway, look, I feel like I'm rambling. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people that are emotional about it, and my thing is that he's gone now. He's at peace, him and his daughter, and I'm just praying for the rest of us as we move on. That's all.
Yeah, well, me speaking, I think I can comfortably say that amongst the three of us, I'm the one that is like the biggest Kobe fan, because I have a philosophy that, you should not idolize people, because at the end of the day, everyone else is a human being. Like pretty much anything any other person can do, you can do too. So you can't hold people to like these superhuman, larger than life, standards and stuff like that. But if I had to go on record to say, the closest things and closest people I have to idols, heroes, Kobe is 100% one of them. Like Kobe, when it comes to specifically basketball, Kobe, Allen Iverson, and Michael Jordan are my three big, that's my big three for favorite basketball players of all time, because of their competitiveness and their tenacity, etc., etc. So, me finding out that Kobe died, I was actually frozen when I found out. And within the first 24 hours of him dying, I had a similar situation mentally to like when my dad died, especially because there were a lot of comparisons that I could draw between my dad's death and Kobe's death. So, like the way Kobe was just consistently in my mind. And then later on, Gianna, when I found out that she was in a crash too, boy, that like messed me up for a while. And I didn't actually go to work the next day. I actually not phoned him, I sent a message to my manager saying, yo, I'm not coming in. Kobe's death messed me up. So, it's pain, bro. It is pain. But I like how the rest of the world has responded so far, because it just goes to show just how influential a guy he was, both on and off the court. And, that's just, the outpouring of love and appreciation and homage that's being paid to him is just testimony to how sick a guy he was. Like, you really don't get guys like Kobe. He is truly a once in a lifetime, once in a generation type of character. And it is very, very difficult to follow up on someone like that. And I think this could be a topic for another day, but the way the media handled his death was atrocious. And boy,
yeah,
I agree. I totally
agree.
But that's, that's the topic for another day, that one right there, isn't it? But yeah, man, look, when it comes to Kobe passing, bruv, it's just a case that for us, students of the game, people that were touched by Kobe, it's people that aspire to be great, etc., etc. We really need to make sure that we now carry on the legacy, carry on the fire, and just make sure that that Mamba mentality is well and truly implemented within everything we do to attain success. So I want to say big love to Kobe. Thank you, Kobe, for everything that you have ever inspired me to ever do to be great. Rest in peace, Kobe. Rest in peace, Gigi. My love and prayers to the family, of the Bryant family in this time, because it's difficult. I've been through it, to lose a father unexpectedly. So I know exactly what you guys are going through. So for the whole world to know about the passing before you do, I've been through that. So I know what you're going through on that end as well. You know what I mean? Just love and prayers and just healing to them out of that. So, yeah, man, we've said our little bits about Kobe. So on to the main topic of discussion today, which is, can Black people be racist? Now, I don't know how you guys feel about it, right? But let's just get it out of the way, the main argument that is said, because it's very, very simple. A lot of people already know this, right? Black people can't be racist because we don't have the power to be racist. That is the main thing, the main argument about why Black people can't be racist, right? So let's expand on that a little bit. I don't know who wants to chime in on this, but in fact, no. I know who I'm gonna pass it to, bruv. Man, like Raf, bruv. Come on.
I think you should start because you probably got the most research, bro.
No, nothing about research, fam. Don't worry about research, bro.
And
Your catchphrase.
What
is your catchphrase?
What?
What's your
I'm
catchphrase?
too shy, bro.
Tell the people your catchphrase.
I don't have a catchphrase, bro.
Shut your ass up, bro. What's your catchphrase?
Too shy, fam.
Fam, let me tell you about this man, Raf, yeah? It doesn't matter what discussion it is. We could be talking about freaking KFC bringing in chicken nuggets, bruv. And this man will find a way to ask the following question in like any discussion, right? Do you know what systematic racism is? That bar right there. I've heard Raf say that in discussions so many times to so many people, bruv. He has to put people up on game about systematic racism. So, Raphael, if you would please explain what systematic racism is for the people watching who may not know.
Okay, I want to start with individual racism.
This
So
nigga, fam.
this started 2 years ago, yeah. No, you want me to talk, so let me talk in it.
Fam,
I say,
you
wanna
start
force me to
define
talk first?
what systematic racism is, and this guy's like, okay, so individual racism is,
bro. You gotta start from the base, bro, to get the understanding. You know what I'm saying? Start from the start to the ending, to the whole. yeah.
All right, go.
It's not gonna be long. It's not gonna be a long thing. It's simple, yeah. Like 2 years ago, yeah. I don't know. I decided to research about racism. Maybe something sparked it off. I don't freaking know. So, as I researched about racism, I actually found that there was more than one type of racism, which I didn't know before. I thought racism was literally like, you fucking monkey, get out of the country. You know what I mean? Like, you know, hating someone's skin, etc. Do you know what I mean? So when I found out there was more than one, because actually, no, tell a lie. That's what actually started it. This topic right here is what actually started me researching about racism, because someone came on Facebook or YouTube and said black people can't be racist. And then you had like a lot of white people. You even had black people saying, no, we can be racist. So I was thinking, what? Like, let me actually research into why these black people think that we can't be racist. So that's when I researched. So to the answer to your question, can like black people be racist? Yes and no. Individually, they can, because individually anybody can be racist. Individual racism is basically the one I'm talking about, when you hate someone's skin color, etc. You hate, you know, a type of group, blah blah blah. But then when you talk about systematic racism, also known as institutional racism, is basically the system of the whole country. So we're talking about schools, we're talking about companies. You will never see a black. You can have a black CEO of his own company, of course, because it's his own company. But when you're talking about Barclays, when you're talking about all of these big establishments, you will not see a black person there. And it's the system of also kind of connected with white privilege, but it's the system of just the whole country. Like I'm trying to think of an example that it's run out of my head. Like, it just goes into the schools, all the institutes, just the way, like, even if you go into Forbes, like, you're not gonna find there isn't a lot of black millionaires or billionaires or whatever. It's just dominated by the Chinese, by white. It goes also into what's it called? Shit. It also goes into not property. What's that word called? Inheritance. Sorry. You can even use that as an example. Like, think about how much we got inheritance in Africa. That's where we're from. But if you're talking about in general, like England, America, all these other, we don't have any inheritance. Like, I don't have any properties, etc. But I hope you guys understand it, like the simple detail. Like, but that's it. Yeah. That's not how we have to say about racism, but that's enough, bro. Like,
I'm just gonna say you forgot about structural racism as well.
No, do you know what? Yeah. But yeah, you're right. You're right. Sorry. No, because you know what? I still wanted to talk about too, like, because I know that systematic racism is also called institutional racism. But yeah, you're right about structural racism. That's enough. There's 3 types. There's some people that even go into different types, but I just want to make it as simple as possible. Personally, I just wanted to talk about individual and systematic. Because it's not like I feel like I need to talk about structural, but I feel like systematic racism answers the question on why black people can't be racist. But I feel, if that topic comes along, I feel like if we have that debate with other people, we need to tell them, yes, a black person can be racist in terms of individual racism. Yes, that's what the meaning is. But in terms of systematic, which is the whole foundation of what racism is, that's why black people can't be racist. And that's where people need to try to understand. It's not us saying to white people or whoever that, listen, like we can't be racist, we can be rude to anybody. What people need to understand is that when a black person is racist, it makes no difference to that white person. When a white person is racist, that black person still is under systematic racism. Does that make sense? So that's the answer. Like, I don't know if it's too soon, but that's my answer, or that's what people try to explain to everybody. You feel me? Like, your life is not going to change as a white person, which looks into white privilege. You know what I mean? White privilege mean that obviously it's not saying that you guys are having a terrible life, but it just means that black people are just living harder. They still have these obstacles and all the systematic and everything in front of us, stopping us from getting whatever. It goes down to discrimination, flipping statistics and down that with crime. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't know why I'm nervous today, bro.
This guy, fam, man said nervous, bro. But just to go to your thing, because I've forgotten this in my research, but then when you mentioned it, I was like, that's what I wanted to search up. So Forbes, right? Because once upon a time, I can't remember how many years ago it was, but I went on the Forbes list to be like, okay, who is the first? Who is the first black billionaire that comes up on the list, right? Now, I've just logged onto the Forbes website again, right? Of the world's billionaires. You do not come across a black person until you get all the way down to number 136. So there are 135 other people that are richer than the first black billionaire. And the first black or you know what I mean, like the higher, you know what I mean, richest black person in the world, right? So the richest black guy in the world, first off, he's Nigerian. So, shout out to my Nigerians right there. Come on,
all that money. What are you talking about, man?
Hey. You see you, fam. Enemy of progress, bruv. Listen here. That's internalized racism. But we're going to get to that in a second, innit? So, Aliko Dangote, right? For anybody who doesn't know who Aliko Dangote is, his main things are cement, sugar, and flour. That is how he's managed to make 10.4 or be worth 10.4 billion as of the 2019 billionaires net worth. Dangote, he is the continent's largest cement producer. He owns nearly 85% of the publicly traded Dangote Cement through a holding company. And they produce 45.6 million metric tons annually and has operations across 10 countries in Africa. Now, you know what I mean? Even if we just sit and think about that for a second, like, obviously it's dope that my man is there, but like, as far as billionaires go, that's not actually that impressive, if you ask me. Or I don't know, what do you guys think?
I think that's impressive, but I got no money, bro.
Yeah, I mean, duh, obviously, like, bro, duh. But I mean, what do you guys? I mean, as far as billionaires go, you know what I mean? You got billionaires who are in tech and oil and this and that, and then
if compared to obviously everybody else, they obviously yes, but it's like,
bro, my guy sells cement, flour, and sugar, fam.
Yeah, but it's true. But then this is where like people don't see.
I'm just gonna make a quick point very quickly.
Go.
All the billionaires that you're talking about, right? If they're making, maybe not so much tech, but even if you talk about tech and the resources, all those resources come from Africa. So in a sense, if they didn't have the ability to get those resources from Africa, they're basically just making money off of our own shit. If it was our own people, we would be the billionaires. That's my
big
point,
time,
so.
big time, man. Because there's definitely been a lot of exploitation with regards to the continent of Africa and how everybody has been able to eat off of Africa's plate and leave hardly anything else for Africans. But going back to the Forbes list and obviously the placing of where people are and stuff, it just goes to show that even when you're the most successful black guy, you're still not really up there with the rest. Because, I mean, if we take the top 5 richest guys on that list, that is Jeff Bezos, who is the
Amazon.
CEO of Amazon. So he is worth 131 billion. He's technically the richest guy on this list, except the Rothschilds, but we're not going to go into that conspiracy. Bill Gates is second, 96.5 billion in Microsoft. Can we just deep that for a second as well? At one point in time, Bill Gates was the richest guy on Earth. and then somebody actually overtook him, bro. That's kind of mad. And not only overtook him, bro, they overtook him with force. Like, that is what, 35 billion more? Just about 34.5 billion more. That's a bit mad, you know? Because Amazon is a fairly recent thing as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, Amazon is... How old is Amazon now?
Amazon's not recent, bro. It's been there for time, bro.
Bruv, it's been within our lifetimes, fam. That's recent as hell. That's recent as hell, bruv. Like, at least with Bill Gates and Microsoft...
Look how old Nike and Adidas
So what?
I said, look how old Nike and Adidas and those clothing companies are. They're old, you know?
Yeah, I guess, and still not worth billion. No, wait, hold up a sec. Where is Nike on it? All right, there we go. Number 26, Phil Knight for Nike. Even then, that's only 33.4 billion, you know. It's a bit mad. But anyway, but yeah, man, even in the upper echelons, you got Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Bernard Arnault, and Carlos Slim Helú. Like, and them man there, well, Carlos Slim Helú is obviously, you know, fifth. He's on 64 billion. Black guy on 10. That's a bit mad. You know what I mean? Like, even amongst the richest of the rich, bro, we're still lower level.
Money.
Huh?
You don't need that much money to live life.
Yeah, 100. But I'm just saying. But anyway, let's go back to the whole thing because we're starting to get a little bit off hand. Can black people be racist? So, in terms of some of the stuff that I pulled up and I know to be true, etc., there is definitely that argument that people say of, oh yeah, man, freaking reverse racism. And listen here, I'm gonna just call you out right now. If you think that reverse racism is a real thing, you're a whole pussy, bro. Like, no cap. There's no such thing as reverse racism. The very concept of reverse racism is stupid, if you ask me. Like, how can you because, like, all right, going off the definition of racism, as far as, you know, if we're going very, very plain, bare bones definition, is prejudice based on race, right? Like, you feel that you are superior and that someone else is inferior based on your race, right? So if white people do that to black people, that's racist. And if black people do it to white people, that shouldn't be racist, no? Like, it shouldn't be reverse racist. No, it's just racist if that's what the definition of racism is, right? So that's one reason why I think reverse racism is stupid. But then the second reason is just a simple fact that, bruv, just know. If you think that you can be racist to white people, you've got to realize that there is a big difference between racism and prejudice. Because what kind of solidifies something being racist is the socioeconomic implications of what is being said and done. So, like Raf was saying, if a black person is prejudiced, I'm not going to say racist because it's not racist, right? But if a black person is prejudiced to a white person, it doesn't really mean much at the end of the day. It hurts their feelings, but past it hurting their feelings, that's it, right? Like, the white person will still earn as much money as they want to earn. They will still have as great a job as they're going to have. They will still have as many opportunities come to them as they think will come to, as they deserve to have, will get, etc., etc. But if a white person is prejudiced or racist to a black person, that then can have implications on their well-being. Like, their money is affected, their standing in society is affected, their opportunities are affected. And then it's also the fact as well that white people need to come to understand that whether they ask for it or not, they have an upper hand, especially if you're a white man. Like, white women is one thing, but white men literally run the world. So
we run the world.
For you as a white man, especially, to want to, you know, say that you can, like, someone can be racist to you, no, bruv. Like, race, like, one thing I came across in my research, right, was you can't talk on racism because you just never will understand what it's like to be a black person. And that is the same as how us as men can never ever speak on pregnancy because we'll never know what it's like to be pregnant.
Mm.
It's that same thing. You're when as much as we can read up on it and sympathize and empathize and you know what I mean, all of that stuff, we will never ever know what it's like to have to deal with having a baby physically inside us growing for 9 months and then have to push it out. So we can't speak on pregnancy the same way a woman can. We just can't. And it is the same for racism. You will never, ever be able to speak on racism and say that you're affected by racism because you're not in our position to go through the same shit. So for a black person to be racist, i.e. have socio-economic implications and effects on people outside of our race based on, you know, what we say and do, it just don't happen. And that is, and what I want to make people aware of as well is that a lot of the discussion focuses on black versus white, black versus white, black versus white, black versus white. One thing that was not prevalent in a lot of the research I was trying to do was ain't nobody really talking about how other races treat black people or how black people treat other races. Like, I did not find much stuff about black versus Chinese, black versus Indian, black versus even European white. Black versus black was one that came up. Black versus white was one that came up. But anything outside of that, but don't get it twisted. Understand that in the world today, a lot of people, no matter what your race, shit on black people and put them at the bottom of the pile. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the reason why black women, it's so stupid to me how black women in the UK will go to an Indian man's shop to go buy their hair extensions and shit. You know what I mean? Like, but it's little shit like that. And these Indian men that are running the shop will still run with chest. They'll still be like, oh, get out of my shop, red, this and that, and still trying to flex their muscles like they're doing something. But it's that whole notion that they think that they're better than black people, which is why they can then, you know what I mean? They can profit off of the fact that black women want to get hair extensions and all that sort of shit. And, you know what I mean? It's just every race puts the black man down, fam. Every race puts the black man down. So can black people be racist? No, man. Because it needs to have socioeconomic implications. And so far, it absolutely does not. You know what I mean? Like, every other race around us can still thrive irrespective of what the black man say and do. But the flip side, we're now taking hits if these people say or do anything that hinders us. So, nah, man, black people can't be racist. But that's just one element of the discussion that has been explored, that, you know, we explore and that I've explored and that I believe in and such. But there's a lot of other ways to take this as well, man. But yeah, I don't know. What about you guys? Do you think black people can be racist or not?
Stop there.
I
got something to say after, by the way.
No, you can say it now whilst I'm thinking.
Okay, well, I'll tell a short story. So basically, I kind of like run like this anime and gaming organization called Team Otaku UK. And what I was trying to do for cosplayers specifically was just promote them for free. And what you guys also do realize in terms of anime and manga, there's barely any black anime characters or manga characters, etc. For whatever reason, it's the Japanese making it. You know what I mean? Don't want to try and get into that. So I basically put up a post saying that I'm looking for. Basically, we promote everybody, but specifically, I put up a post saying that I'm looking for black cosplayers because with the black nerd community, if that's what you want to call it, or black anime community, when they try to cosplay, as some people know, they get, you know, a lot of racism. They're saying that, oh, you're black, you can't cosplay as that character, blah blah blah. You might get some black Naruto. If you guys know who Naruto is, you might get some black Naruto with some blonde long wig or whatever, and he's just getting cast, you know, stuff like that. So some guy like commented on it, and so he was like, oh, why are you looking for black cosplayers for? I don't like when people do this. Oh, you're ruining anime. I was thinking, okay, obviously I was thinking that's some stupid comment that you just replied to. So I just out of curiosity, I messaged him, private messaged him. I was like, yeah, so what's up? Why don't you
Did you hit him with your bar?
I did.
I knew it.
I did. And you know what he said to me to that? He's like, "Are you stupid?" He was cussing me. I didn't cuss him back. You know, this time I was the mature one, innit? He was cussing me. Of course, I know what systematic racism is. Blah blah blah. He did say a basic basic view of it. So I was thinking, if you know what systematic racism is, why are you acting this way? Now going to the beginning conversation, so you can understand why understand what was going on. So I spoke to him, and he was just basically saying that cosplaying is for everybody. He was saying that, oh, if you look at this guy didn't research. He was saying if you look at statistics, black people don't suffer from racism. Blah blah blah. He was implying that all this racism stuff happens in America.
What? Wait, yeah. Where did he get that from, bro?
Oh, and then I said to him, I said to him, where are you from, by the way? Because he knows I'm from the UK, Team Kentucky UK, innit? So where are you from? And he was like, sorry, I don't want to tell you where I'm from because I don't want you to hunt me down or blah. I was like, you could obviously, it was obvious I was asking him because I just wanted to know because it's not necessarily true, whether you believe it or not, but the further you go out of England, the less black people there are. Like naturally, London's diverse. You'll find everybody here. Do you know what I mean? So I want to know where he was from and where he was really getting this conversation. And it was so funny. You know what I also did? I found examples of where black cosplayers was getting attacked with racism. There was I don't know if you know who Diva is from Overwatch. Yeah, Diva's a Korean character, a black girl cosplayer, and she was getting ripped on Twitter. This happens every day on a day.
Every day, B.
I told him that, and he was like, "Oh, that's only one." And I was like, "You know what? I need to."
You know what's funny though? If you just go into the comment section of any black cosplayer, you will find slander.
You'll find it there.
I mean, any black cosplayer. And what besides you if you're a chunky black cosplayer as well, fam. If you're a fat female cosplayer,
over for you, boy. What do they call Lizzo? They called her Rikishi. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. No. No. That's
fam, Lizzo. Lizzo is a whole topic in of herself.
Say that. You can't say that, bro. I know it's got Rikishi's black, yeah. But you can't say that.
No, but do you know what it is though? Did you see what she wore to her NBA game? That's why they call her Rikishi, fam.
And that's a whole different topic, innit? I didn't appreciate what she was doing in it, but it was not necessary to start destroying her like that, man.
You know what, fam? I can't wait until we talk about that body shaming thing, fam, because we need to get some chunky girls and some skinny girls on that episode for sure, fam. So we can see what they thought about what Lizzo did back then, innit? But that's another topic for another day, innit? But oh boy, fam, you see, yeah. One thing people don't seem to understand when it comes to this whole racism talk, yeah, is okay. Do you know what? In fact, yeah. This is really, really silly about racism, right? You know when, you know what I mean? You tell them, look, listen, we can't be racist because you haven't been through what we've been through, this and that. Why do then some of the white people want to be like, yeah, I have this and that? Like, bro, understand something. Racism is not something you want to go through, fam. Count your lucky stars that you can't relate to us because it's not a fun thing to go through. You know what I mean?
The thing is that what this is the missing part of the whole equation is that we've never been in school and been taught about racism properly. Like this is what racism is. This is what systematic racism is. Blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? So white people, I mean, not everybody, can't generalize, but they haven't been taught it. When we talk about racism, straight away they're thinking about you monkey, get out of the fucking country. They're thinking about that straight away. They're thinking, wait, I have been racist. Someone called me a cracker. Someone said that I was white as snow. I don't know. I'm making up some stupid examples. You know what I mean? I don't know. Someone I've seen it on YouTube. I've seen it stories. I've been attacked racist. I've experienced racism. They don't understand what systematic racism is. And I feel to reference what's his name? That music video. You know the artist.
Oh, what? Joyner Lucas, I'm Not Racist.
Yeah, there we go. Like that.
Yeah.
I think that along with This Is America, like all of these references and songs, they're teaching you, they're showing you like practically what we're talking about. Do you know what I mean? And different, especially the Jonas one, man. They go deep into it because they're using the two, obviously one's white, one's black, and they're using prime examples. Oh, I see a black guy dragging his nuts. But why is your trousers so down low? Blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like unfortunately, racism is not gonna fade away. It can't fade away because it's a system. Do you know what I mean? Part of slavery, etc. But I feel like if people, not just white people, I feel like everybody, even black people, because some black people don't even know what systematic racism, right? Like, loads of my black friends don't know what systematic racism is. Do you know what I mean? I feel like if we start to educate and actually try to listen to each other, then we'll get further. Do you know what I mean? So, like, let me, going back to this, like, cosplay and Team Attack UK stuff, yeah? So there was, like, one day I was like, looking at black cosplayers, and like a lot of black cosplayers started speaking about the racism and on live and stuff like Instagram live and stuff like that. And then one black cosplayer was like, like, I appreciate my friends, my non-black friends, trying to support me and help me and trying to comfort me in my DMs. But what needs to happen is you need to start defending us. So like, and that's what I feel like that's the key to helping racism, even by 5 or 10%. I don't know about percentages, but if people in general start defending when you see it, because you can say I'm not racist, but if you allow someone to be racist and just allow it, it's not for me to say that you must defend everybody. Obviously protect your life, whatever, but if you're so passionate about helping, to stop racism, and that you feel that you're not racist, then help to stop it right there. Do you know what I mean? That's just my personal opinion. That's what's gonna help the situation even more, and look at America. Obviously, I'm not trying to get too political. Like with all those marches they've done with the Black Lives Matter movement, and those loads of white people there just trying to help, and they understood, like especially in America, they understood what the Black Lives Matter movement was all about. They understood that, listen, like, black people are most likely to get shot than white people, to put it simply, plain. I'm not trying to go into statistics. I don't need to. Do you know what I mean? Right there, I mean, they're everywhere, but you actually have white people, you have people that actually understand what systematic racism is, and they understand what black people are crying about. Do you know what I mean? But it's a doggy out well there, because the truth is that a lot of people just don't care. It doesn't affect them, so they want to understand. They don't even want to, like the person I was talking to on Instagram, he didn't want to understand where I was coming from. Obviously, someone that doesn't agree, you can disagree with someone. Do you know what I mean? Just because you disagree with someone doesn't mean you don't understand. But this guy wasn't paying attention to what I was saying in the sense of, this is what I've been through. He didn't believe me. He thought I was like one of a million, which is kind of crazy because racism is on the news. Megan, there's so many cosplaying. There's like so many layers of this. The Hollywood industry, with actors, there's so many. I'm repeating myself. There's so many layers to racism in so many ways, which all connects to systematic racism. Why do you think there's not a lot of black actors? You can go down to even Chinese, like Asian actors. Like, why do you think there's not a systematic racism? It's just simple.
All right, so just piggybacking off the back of what you said, yeah, there was an interesting notion that was purported, and when I came across it, I was like, you know what? That is interesting. So there is this one guy out there that says that black people can be racist, and he is black himself.
Yeah.
And the way he goes about it, I think is very, very. It bears merit. It holds weight with how he goes about it, if you ask me, right? So the name of this guy is Ibram X Kendi. Now he has written a couple books. The most recent book he had written was a book called How to
He's
Be
got
an
glasses and
Anti-Racist.
dreads, right?
Yes, got glasses and dreads, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, yeah, I know.
yeah, so he wrote a book called How to Not Be How to Be an Anti-Racist. Now, his thing about being racist is, first of all, for you to support first off, he says there's two camps, right? There's racist and anti-racist. There is no middle ground. So that's the very first thing. Now, based off of that you're either racist, you're anti-racist. If you are those people that support racist policies, then clearly you're racist. If you're people that support anti-racist policies, you're anti-racist. If you're the majority, the status quo, which is indifference or racial inequality, not standing up to the racist policies, you're on a racist side because you're not doing anything to stop it and prevent it. So that is his way of approaching it. Now, with that, bearing that in mind, he then also states that for racism and racist policies and stuff to exist, you need to not only be underestimating the power that black people have, but also overestimating the power that white people have. And now, from there, you are then basically saying that black people don't really have a choice, when really you do. Everybody has the power to shape policy. Sorry, not shape policy, but to resist policies. They have the power to defend or institute racist policies, right? So, if you, as a black man, defend a racist policy or a racist institute, that therefore makes you racist because you're now allowing the problem to get worse, right? And also he also goes on to say as well that if there's different layers of white people that you've got to look at, right? But there's the white people who can shape the policies and implement the policies, and there's the white people that is just your everyday white guy. Who is the one that you should be attacking? It's not the everyday white guy. He doesn't matter so much. If you focus on him, you neglect this guy up here. And by neglecting that guy up there, you allow the problem to get worse. And by allowing the problem to get worse, you now make it harder for black people, and therefore you are racist. So if you as a black person don't focus on this guy consistently and put all your effort into bringing that guy down, that makes you racist. Now, what I find very interesting about that way of thinking is that I can see it myself, even in the mainstream media. I don't know how much you guys have been paying attention to what's happening with Terry Crews and Gabrielle Union.
No.
Nah? Okay, so quickly to explain. Gabrielle Union slammed America's Got Talent for being racist, right? That they,
Yes.
There we go, yeah. So lacking people of color working on the set and showing prejudices towards, the white talent and etc., etc. And then Terry Crews, oh man, I wish Terry Crews never did it, bruv, went on air and said with whole chest, bruv, I don't know about being a woman on America's Got Talent, but I know about the racism side of things in America's Got Talent. And I can comfortably say I never experienced none of it. We had diverse range of talent that was in there from all sorts of backgrounds. So, with Gabrielle Union saying what she said, I don't really believe it. I went to my wife to ask for what to do, and my wife said blah, 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 zd, blah. So therefore, that is what I maintain. I never went through it, so therefore I don't know what she's talking about. Threw Gabrielle Union under the bus. And based on what Ibram said, I'm like, bruv, that right there is a racist black guy. As much as it's weird to say and painful to say and such like that, but that right there is just one example of a black man who is not helping to to resist the racist policy or the racist regime, the racist institute, the racist institute being Americans Got Talent, you know? So
I'm gonna jump in and say something very quickly. I've read this Ibrahim thing, guys, because what we're talking about, I was researching a couple of maybe weeks ago or something. I was read this very same day, and at one motion I was like, oh yeah, we can. Now listening to the argument that we're going through today, I have now come to some conclusions of no, we cannot. I can understand why he says. What I'll say is I don't agree with him, because what I read recently, very recently, is how you have to first and foremost look at the definition of race, right? The definition of race itself has to do with the skin color, the features that are typical of each race, right? And that's what encapsulates that race. It's impossible for you to be racist to your own people. Let's be honest. What I think happened with Terry Crews, and this can be a impediment into our, what do you call it? Our freedom from institutional racism or systematic racism, whatever kinds of racism, is that he's riched up. There's a known fact that the more money you get, the more you can isolate yourself from a lot of these things. Yeah. It doesn't mean you don't experience it, but because he didn't experience it, I think if he was a runner on the show or something like that, or someone a little less money inclined and didn't have the star status he had, it'd be a thing. Do you see what I'm saying? Because nearly everyone, if you were a black person, you was working on that show, you would almost definitely give her the benefit of the doubt, right?
Yeah.
I think he's got money. He's well insulated. He's doing very well in his career. He hasn't had anything that stirred him. And what's happened is he's gone very insular because he's got money now. And it's become about his own experiences rather than the experience of his people. We've seen this many times with other people. So my thing is, I don't believe he is racist. I do believe you can aid a racist system. You can, by your indifference and your passivity, aid it in being in continuing to be a stronghold. But I don't believe that makes you racist, because the definition of what race is and how you define racism is totally different. The only reason why I do like what that guy says, it takes a proactive response and mindset to dealing with racism. So it's not just a passive thing, because what he rightly says, what tends to happen is that we underestimate the power of black people and we overestimate the power of white people, and it comes across with a very victim mentality, like a lot of victimhood involved in it. So what I do like about what he's saying is changing the mindset behind it to make a more active approach about how you deal with it. So more black people are active about it rather than thinking. But I still disagree that it doesn't make you racist. It doesn't. I don't think it does, because the actual notion of racism is something that you can identify with your eyes. I can see you as a white person, you're white. I can see you as a black person, you're black. Do you see what I'm saying? And when people go, oh, black against black isn't a thing. That's more like cultural, tribal things. Do you see what I'm saying? Because some people say, well, Caribbeans and Africans. I'm like, yeah, but if you look at the race, what defines us as race is the nose, the features, the prominent features is our skin color, the nose, and the features, the typical makeup of what makes up black people. That's my rant done.
I just wanted to say something, yeah. Sorry for cutting you. So, was he actually part of the show then?
What, Terry Crews?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a host.
Yeah.
So he was a host, and were they both on the same season or something?
Gabrielle Union was a judge, so she was a judge on the show, and Terry Crews was the host.
He's the host, saying, "Oh, welcome, blah blah blah."
Yeah, he's the one on stage, like, "Oh yeah, so well done on your performance. What do you think, judges? All right, cool. Congratulations." He's the one talking to the acts behind stage and all that sort of stuff, whatever. But yeah, the thing with Terry Crews' thing, right, is he must have been talking out of his ass on that one. I feel, because there's no way you could be the host of the show and not see the staff around you.
Money. I'm telling you, I think it's his money, man. It's either that what he's getting paid to do the show, he doesn't want to jeopardize that, or he's so comfortable and they're treating him to a point where it doesn't matter to him to look outside of his bubble because things are cool. That's
maybe Gabrielle's wrong.
No, She's not.
No.
She's not. I could understand from a lot of the things she's saying. Just as a viewer, I could understand what she's saying. Like, and Gabrielle Union isn't someone that's always screaming out about things, you know. Beautiful woman. She's not the woman that's always screaming out about, oh, racist people, racist that. So that's always something to look at, you know. Credibility. She's not someone who's always been challenging these things, but she was hired to do a job. She wasn't, when she tried to breach it, she was treated some way, and then they let her go. They fired her, basically. And that's a quick, that already.
They fired her just because of that, what she said.
Yeah, I think so. I think, bro, it makes you look guilty as hell when you raise up a topic, and immediately people are like, "Oh, we had to part ways." That's fishy as hell.
You also got to remember as well, yeah. Nick Cannon used to be the host of America's Got Talent as well, and he was, well, they say fired. They say fire. He said left, whatever. But Nick Cannon left the show. You've got to remember that Nick Cannon is also somebody who is very, very like pro-black. Yeah. So you know what I mean. Pay attention to those sorts of things. You know
Whereas Nick said something about it.
I don't know if I ever saw him say anything, but I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Let me check. Whilst you guys keep talking.
Yeah, what were you going to say, Ref?
No, that's all I wanted to know, because I didn't know, obviously, the full story. Like, I was thinking, it sounds stupid, didn't it? I was thinking Terry Crews was like on a different season than her. So I was thinking how would you obviously experience what she's experienced, because you was even there, but obviously they're both from the same show, so.
Yeah, but even if it was different seasons, it's not like different seasons means like a whole. It's not like one year they had a whole bunch of black people working on it, and then the next year they just got rid of all the niggas. You know what I mean? Like, it don't work like that for a TV show. So even if they were on different seasons, the fact still remains.
I read up, so there's several articles when I googled it. Daily Mail, MSN. They've all said Nick Cannon backs Gabrielle Union on the cultural insensitivities. So.
Yep.
Yeah, he said Nick Cannon left America's Got Talent after a racial joke fallout.
There you go, right?
So racism, guys. There you go.
Yeah, man. So, but yeah, like True Function was saying, man. Like, I like what you said about, you know what I mean. You can't be racist to your own people. You can definitely hinder them, which is where the whole coon thing comes from. But
Uncle Tom.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't need to say the word, bro. That's a
what, coon? Man, this is the forbidden juice, bro. Where we spill the juice on all things forbidden. And I say whatever the fuck I want.
Bro, you can't say that word, bro.
I can say whatever I want, fam. It's my goddamn show. I say whatever the fuck I want. Yeah, bro. You know what I mean? Them coon niggas. You know what I mean? What they used to call them house Negroes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a whole my thing. Do you know what? Yeah,
Master,
it's sad to see those types of people. You know what I mean? And I think.
Let me just say something very quickly. As much as it's sad for us to see, I'll send you guys something that one of my, I almost say a mentor sent me about the whole idea of white privilege and I guess white fragility, all of that crap, basically. Yeah.
Is it white virginity?
Yeah, because that's
fragility.
It's part of what we have to deal in. Yeah, I'll send it to you because it's a very
like fragile.
Thing. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I thought you said virginity, like virginity.
No. So I'll send it to you because it's really good. It's informative. I'm not gonna make it long. Same way we have Uncle Toms and Coons. For those who want to protect white privilege, you have those that breach white solidarity.
Mm-hmm.
And solidarity is the fact that, oh, I'm not racist, or we don't do this together. You must stand together. And the white people that decide to come and champion with us, you'll find that if they're open about it, they also suffer abuse too. So it works on both. It's just a human thing. It just so happens that in the world that we live in right now, technically speaking, white people are seen as the dominant, and I'm saying seen as. I'm saying seen as. I want to be really specific as the word, because I don't want to say they are. They are seen as the dominant, and black people are seen as the underdogs. That's why every race will treat us bad, but white people will treat every other race bad, because they're seen as the top and we're seen as the bottom. So you'll always get people that on whatever side who betray the cultural or the race's general motto or vehicle for movement and progression. that's just human people. It just seems that it hurts us more because at the moment we're not in a great place. Well, it seems like we're not in a great place, but things are changing.
Yeah.
Because everyone's saying that.
I don't think things are changing.
Well, bro, things are changing, man. Come on,
They
bro.
are.
Like, we have a black billionaire. Like, roll back literally 50 years, we did not have that.
But before that, we used to have some of the richest people on the world. So that's the funniest thing.
True,
So,
true,
They
true.
said that the richest man to ever live ever was like from Africa. Like my man would have like the craziest train.
What was
And he
his
was from West Africa. I've
name?
forgotten his name. Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. My
Yeah.
man would carry mountains of gold, yeah, almost like 60 miles long, like ridiculous amounts of money.
His
be
name
like,
was Shaka Zulu.
Shut up, you twat, bruv.
Okay, sorry. Carry on.
Well, Adrian knows who I'm talking about. So
Yeah, I know who
So-
you're talking about, bruv. I can't remember his name. I can't even remember what country he's from. Like, something is telling me Egypt, but I'm not 100% sure about
no,
that.
it's not Egypt. It's a West African country. It
Mm.
might have been a Ghanaian guy. I can't remember, but whatever.
But yeah, one of the richest guys in history.
History.
Not even like, oh yeah, at the time. No,
Yeah,
in
Because
history.
even
Was
when
a
they were
black guy,
estimating,
Mm.
when they were including inflation and stuff, if they were to compare what he was today, he'd be like ridiculous, like way above trillions, like disgusting.
Mm.
So, well, how do you
So-
lose?
Huh?
How do you lose it?
No, he died, didn't it? Everyone dies, man.
You know what I mean, bro?
That was ages ago.
Just because he was rich doesn't mean he's immortal, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm saying inheritance, bro.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
It's
that's
inheritance.
another thing.
Well,
I'm
fam.
gonna make one more point, and I'm not gonna say anything else.
No.
Because I've enjoyed listening to you guys today. I usually ramble a lot more. But what I want to say is one of the things I'm considering. One of the things I'm considering, because we are talking about black people being racist, but it's just to go back to that topic. It's a slight discourse, but could it be that integration is actually hurting us?
Yes, bruv. I've been
Yeah.
saying this.
Yeah.
I've been saying this.
Yeah.
Let me flex and speak real quick, fam.
Yeah,
Alright.
do you think that was the last thing I wanted to say? Go ahead.
Fam, I refuse to believe, yeah, that if black people just split off and did their own thing, that we would not come out winning at the end of the shit, bro. Because everybody has been eating off our plate. I said that about like 50 minutes ago, fam. Everyone been eating off of Africa's plate. So the whole thing of, oh yeah, we all need to get along and we need to this and hold hands and kumbaya. Now, fuck that. You know what I mean? What we need to do is we need to just protect ourselves and just split off, because that's literally what every other group is doing. You know what I mean? Jews live by themselves, spend their own money, keep their money within their communities, and look how well the Jewish people are doing. The Chinese, they keep themselves to themselves, bro. They don't let anybody else get involved unless it's good for business, bro. And look how the Chinese are doing. Indians now are raising up on the world. If you don't pay attention to them, bruv, watch. India is growing as a superpower, fam, because they are keeping themselves to themselves. Bro, Asians are always keeping themselves to themselves, bro. You understand? Like, one story that I'll quickly talk about, right, is my dad, when he came to the UK. He came to the UK and there was like an Indian guy who he became friends with when he came to the UK, and they were in the UK for roughly around, they like came in around the same sort of time. And like this brethren managed to get a house way before my dad did. And it was because my guy had the connects, his Indian connects. So my dad was like, yo, brother, come on, man. Like, help a nigga, you know what I mean? Help me. And the guy was like, nah, sorry, no can do, bruv. This is Indian only. And and my dad is just looking at the guy like, brother, like, when you've needed me for money, I've been able to sort you out. And when you needed help, I've been able to help you. What, you can't help me in this one little thing? At least tell me how you did it. Like, and you know what I mean? And then since that day, bruv, my dad, he used to preach it to me, bruv. He used to just be like, look, bruv, you've got to watch out for Indians, man, because they can do you something dirty, fam. And bruv, if we're being real, yeah, pretty much and I've noticed this in like every organization I've ever been in and gone to, and like it's like an unwritten rule, fam. You got to watch out for Asians, bruv. You've got to watch out for Asians when it comes to business, bruv.
Racist.
You know what I mean? Huh?
Racist.
Call it what you want, bro. I call it. I don't know if I call it facts, bro. I was about to be like, facts, but bro, you got.
I love the
Oh,
food.
for Asians, fam. You know what I mean? Because like they do keep themselves to themselves when it comes to this money making shit, bro. And then white people, come on, man. Of course they do. They make sure that they've got a stranglehold on their profits. So why, if it's working for everybody else, why the fuck can't we do it? You know what I mean? Especially with all the shit that we got. I mean, bro, why? And especially at this time in history where we have the internet, we have educated black people, we have know-how that we just, I mean, it's not like it was 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 500 years ago, where we needed people to come into the country and tell us how to do shit. Like, we can fully do everything ourselves now. We've got the resources, we've got the knowledge, we've got the manpower, we've got the this, that. Bro, we should be Wakanda by now, fam.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Systematic racism.
But, bro, do you think systematic racism exists in Africa?
You know what? I had this conversation with somebody. Somebody.
It does in the sense of colonialism, and also there's an old generation that needs to die out because there are people like we've spoken about who are hurting the progress, and some of it is actually not anything to do with race, but is actually to do with the infrastructure of how a country should be run. For a good example, I don't want to shame my country, but I bring them out because sometimes you got to shut your own home as problem, innit? Nigeria's got some very corrupt leaders who are consuming so much from the country. If it wasn't for the mindset of they want to feed themselves, because there is this whole thing of every man for himself. Now, that applies to most human beings. But believe you me, when it comes to your race versus other races, it seems that the other races know how to band together. Culture or no culture. It seems like in Africa, they'll be like, okay, I will do what I want for me. It doesn't matter. And as soon as the white person comes in, it's all hail white people. Let's give them room. All of this stuff. There's still pretty much that mindset of, again, even amongst black people, that white people are better than our own people. That doesn't make us racist. That's just I think that's just
prejudice.
Not even just prejudice. I also consider it mental health. I do consider it a mental health problem. Because for you to say the person I look the most like is worthless, whereas the person that doesn't look anything like me, we're all humans at the end of the day. So if anyone watching this, is not to be PC, we're all humans, and that's a fact. I get that. But at the same time, to say I've got a broad nose, I have the cheeks in the face of a black man, I have a bone structure of a black man, and the person that looks like me or the woman that looks just like me is worthless, and everyone else is above me, that says a lot. That you're basically saying you yourself ain't worth shit. That is mental health problems. There's self-esteem problems and all that shit. And all of that comes with systematic racism, but also it's a part of the empire of colonialism, or the umbrella of colonialism and its effect on Africa. But believe you me, I say this to the diaspora, if anyone's watching this, be fucking clued in, because Africa is waking up. It might be slow, but it's fucking waking up. And I've been watching the news outlets. I've got people that I watch on YouTube who cover the news, and they're very respectable sources. Bruv, there's some movements happening, and it's we need to get in. We need to get in with our own people before we get off, is what I'm saying.
Bro,
because we're all comfy over here, but yeah.
Fam, you don't understand. Like it was so funny to me how once upon a time my dad used to tell me, I don't see what you kids love so much about the UK. I don't see what you guys love about it so much, man. Like, there's so much happening in Nigeria that you guys could ride and be able to, you know what I mean? But Nigeria is a great place to be. So why you guys praise the UK so much, I don't know. And as a youngin', I'm looking at it like, Dad, you really
here, fam.
Huh?
You're looking at it like, we got internet, we got fast internet here, fam.
Yeah, bro. I'm looking at it through some real limited scope because I'm young, foolish, and naive. But it's the way things have changed, and two, the way I've changed. And things have now changed in Africa, particularly Nigeria, where things are now getting better, like you say, like a movement is happening. And it's also the fact that I've now grown as a man and as a black man. And you know what I mean? I just look at my country and I see, and I've got more love for my country now than I ever have before. And I see the potential to make the country great. So then, like, literally for maybe the last, it was a little bit before my dad died. So we're talking maybe 2.5, 3 years or so. But I've genuinely been considering like pack up shop and move to Nigeria to just eat well, fam. You know what I mean? Like really do well.
Yam!
You know what I mean? Like,
Yam! Super malt.
brother, I'm telling you, yeah, if us three, the way we are right now, not even with anything too mad or anything, but if we three, as we are right now, just took our money, took our know-how, went over to Nigeria or Africa to start doing business, we blow, fam.
Actually, it's not even about money for me. Actually, okay, I don't want to go too much into it. I made affirmations for this year, right? Just because it needs to be done. And one of the affirmations, I haven't written it down, but one of the things I decided after reading some ridiculous news, like too much conspiracy theories for some people, but Bill Gates, vaccinations, Africa, a whole load of shit. That I was just like, nah, this is fuckeries. It occurred to me, I said, it's not anyone's duty to do anything. You're a human being, you can live as you like. But I have given myself a duty that at one point before I leave this earth, I must go back to Africa and contribute to its well-being and its development. If that means taking the skills that I've learned from the West and empowering them, but also empowering them in the sense that, hey, these are skills that come from the West, but you do not need to have a Western mentality. You can still have an African mind and how you handle it and how you do it so it doesn't destroy the culture and the people. I am going to do that. So I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing here, learning what I need to learn, mastering that. But when the time is right, I am going to go there because yes, there's making money, but there's also helping the actual development of Africa. And I wouldn't even just say Africa, even Caribbeans. For those who are Caribbean, it could be an African going to the Caribbean or a Caribbean person going to help Africa. It doesn't matter. Us as the melanated people, there should be at least a diaspora thinking, even if you don't want to live there, just at least go back to contribute and teaching a foundation. Because one of the biggest things of why China is doing so well now is when the Westerners came over to China, China said, yeah, you can come, but you must teach us everything. This is well documented. You can Google this. You must teach us everything and you teach us the blueprints and how everything works. Whereas what happened is we were told this is how things work. This is how things work. And we didn't question it. There was no one to say, well, how does it work? If they said no, that was it. But China learned everything they did from the West. And guess what? They've done it their own way. That's why if you see a PlayStation or a Gucci bag, they've already got the counterfeit. They know how everything works. You know what I'm saying? So the same should apply for Africa. I feel like if we went back and taught some of the stuff we have, like Raphael's been working with video cameras and editing and stuff like that. You've been doing a lot of company growth, outreach, marketing, and how you can do that in a respectable manner. But with an African/Caribbean mindset, we kill it.
Work ethic
in the
as
next
well.
generation or so, Africa will just whoop on its head. Because when you start empowering the people, they can make informed decisions as well and start choosing their leaders better. And also those old leaders will die out. So by the time we hit 50 or so, we should see a new vanguard of leaders. So Africa should change in the next 20 to 10 years.
Yeah, bro.
And we've got to be careful because a lot of people have seen that Russia's getting involved, the UK's getting involved since Brexit. A lot of people want to still eat. And the truth of the matter is, we can be in arms about, oh man, people are trying to take from us about do. You can suck one because really, when it comes down to humans in your family, you'll do what you can, right? If there's not enough for everyone, and it's me against you, Raf, I pray to God it never happen. But if it's about me getting eaten and getting mine, regardless of race, boy, I'm gonna get mine. You know what I'm saying? We can be all nicey about it, but in an ideal world, we should be all cool. But really, everyone's securing what they want. So white people,
remember that,
Asians,
remember that, fam.
White people, Asians.
Fam, you remember? You know the film? What's that film called? When they're on an island and everybody's got to kill each other. I'm gonna kill you first, bro.
You're gonna kill me first.
I remember that.
You're gonna kill me first.
I remember that. Do you remember that? You know the film I'm talking about?
No, but I don't think you'll be able to catch me.
Wait, you talking about Lord of the Flies?
No, the Mockingbird, bro. What's it called? The Mockingbird.
What? How to kill a mockingbird?
Lost?
I don't think that's it.
Let's just say Battle Royale, innit? Let's just go with that.
Oh, Battle Royale. Yeah, that's dope. Oh,
But there's another film I was talking about.
oh, I know
with
what
the
you're
girl.
talking about. Not Game of Thrones. Ah, fuck. Hunger Games.
There we go.
Oh,
Hunger
this
Games.
man was talking about Hunger Games, fam. Oh,
Hunger
fuck.
Games, fam. I remember that, fam.
Do you know what, Raf? You're not fast. You're not fast enough. I've seen you play.
Oh man. Dude. Wait. All right. Wait. All right. Let's just talk some English for a second. All right. So let's say all three of us are in the Hunger Games, right? It's down to us three. Who you think is gonna win?
I think I win.
What? Fuck off.
I think we can all agree, Raf. I know deep down inside you know you're the first one to go. It's fine.
Ah, fam.
You'll be. Do you know what it is? Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, because even though I talk a lot, I'm a very sneaky guy. I'll be watching Raf collect the weapons, kill him off, catch the weapons. I'll be like, all right, then.
Fam,
It'll be between me and you.
fam, do you know what it is?
That's
Yeah?
just racist, bruv. Nigerians, fam, man.
Do you know what it is? Bro, you know what it is, yeah? Raf, you would die first. And the reason why you would die first is because me and Tope wouldn't rest until we kill you first.
Wow, man.
That's the death cry. The death
These
cry.
Nigerians, yeah.
When you get the arrow to the chest.
Don't trust these Nigerians, man. But I'm not Jamaican, fam.
It'll be your last words, fam.
It's all right. You know what? Anyone who's watching this, yeah, we only do it because he keeps going, ah, wah, wah.
A lie,
dickhead.
dickhead. All them jello time you said jello rice, bro. I'm coming for your neck, fam.
Jollof, man. Jollof.
Okay, then. So we've established Raf will be killed off very quickly. It's between me and Adrian.
Fam.
So I know
what?
Adrian's quite fit. So I'm going to have to give it. It won't be an easy one. But I genuinely reckon I would take you out because I'm a sneaky bastard.
Bro, that's what I'm thinking. As much as I love to think that I would survive, I think you would just catch me off guard slipping one way, bro. It will be one time where I'm like taking a shit or something like that. And then...
What's it called? 1,000 years of pain in the bum.
I think it just depends what weapon you get first, man. That's what I think it depends. There's so many. That's what it comes down to. Not only just weapons, but if you find a gun, you rode up to someone.
Do you know what? Yeah, I can imagine us. Yeah, all three of us. Yeah, guns. Yeah, like Raphael's got a shotgun or like an automatic shotgun. I've got some Uzis. My man's like AJ's got like automatic rifles. Yeah, and we're just spraying. We're doing like bullet time, like major jumping. Yeah,
shot.
And at the end of it, we've missed every single shot.
Every shot, bro.
And we're all alive. It's like, okay, then how are we gonna do this? Fist fight.
Yeah, fam.
But
then,
right
bro.
now, do I know how to reload a shotgun? No.
Would you, bro? You know what I mean? Only from what we've seen in video games, isn't it? That's how you do it, right? I like, bro. We're probably so stupid. We'll be looking at a shotgun like this, not knowing that it's got recoil, fam. You know what I mean? Boom!
or just no finger control. Like, you know when you're holding a gun, yeah, and you're just not holding it properly, and you just accidentally squeeze it, and you just like, and you're, okay.
Yeah,
The gun
you know what I mean? I'm holding the rifle like this, fam. I'm like, help me. Fam, nah, fam. See, I'm not doing no guns, no nothing, fam. You know what I mean? Let me just go raw, fam. Machete, fam. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. That's the African way.
Running through the undergrowth. What is it? The underbush, the underbrush, whatever you want to call it, fam. I'm just running.
Okay, so we've established you don't mind hacking people. Raf, what would you use then?
That's if I have the chest to do it, bro. I'll probably just try to kill you from afar. I'll try to like drop a boulder on your head or something, innit? I don't
some Looney Tunes shit.
Fam. Yeah, bro. Because you know what it is? To kill someone up close and personal, fam, I ain't got the balls to do it, bro. I've got to kind of just like kill you and look away while I'm killing
you.
I'm not gonna lie, it depends on the situation. If I need to, my man will put I'll just get some chalk. Do you know what? There's two ways. I've got cowardly me, get some chalk, some dirt, start putting some symbols on my face, start doing chanting. We get it. And then before you know it, yeah, your legs broke up. You're like proper like walking all crispy and shit. And I would have killed you off with Juju. Then there's Brave Me, yeah. And I think the Brave Me will have to do like a war dance, like crump dancing, innit? I have to be basically like stomping and crumping like, what fam? What? And then when I'm really ready, I'll just have to go in your neck and then run away. Because the neck is the quickest way to get anyone, honestly. I'm like, I mean, we're laughing, but real talk, if you get anyone in the neck, if it's not pressurized quickly and stop the bleeding, that's a quick way for someone to die because of the way the blood pumps the heart pumps blood to your brain. Going up is harder than it going down. So when anyone is ever stabbed in their jugular or their neck, they bleed out very quickly. Because I've had some, without making it too sad, I've had some people we know that I knew who passed very quickly after being stabbed in the neck. So yeah, it's just to let you know, guys. Know, yeah, keep your neck protected. Protect your neck. Yeah.
Fam, you think I won't do that after I've heard your strategy now, fam? Don't worry, bro. Me, all I know is you man better watch your back.
Juju. Keep quiet.
Fam, if I pray for the seawater, it becomes holy water, fam. Don't worry, I'm protected from
what's seawater gonna do when I send some giant hornets your way, bro? What's seawater gonna do when
fam,
your toe is swollen?
My God, he's stronger than that. All I'm saying is, in your most vulnerable moments, fam, you better watch yourself. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Better sleep with one eye open.
Okay, all I'm just saying is, if any of you guys hear you're in trouble.
You're there just sitting, eating your fish that you caught the other day, fam. Just all of a sudden,
and you be like, "Hey, is that a UFO?"
You start making the noise because you're trying to beat up it. Fam, one wind will blow into a cave or something like that on the other end of the island, fam.
Oh, could you imagine you're about to eat your jollof rice, yeah, or you're drinking Supermalt, yeah, and you go, what happens, yeah? Your jollof rice becomes uncooked chicken.
Oh, wow.
Uncooked chicken, or your Supermalt turns into
palm wine.
Oh yeah, you don't like palm wine, but I'm thinking about
Palm
what's
wine.
nasty to drink. Oh no, it turns into Marmite.
Oh man.
So do you want to round us up, Adrian?
Yeah, sure. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining our podcast. Let us know in the discussion who you think will survive the Hunger Games, and more to the point, what your thoughts are on racism and whether you think black people can be racist. And of course, feel free to also discuss the whole thing with Kobe in the comments as well, how you felt, how you were affected, etc., how you might even be honoring him, or if you just feel no real thing about it, or maybe even if you feel, it's a bit too much. What's going on at the moment? If you really don't get the hype that's surrounding him, like, please there's a whole bunch of stuff we discussed in this episode today, which is why it's a little bit longer than the others, but you know what I mean, it's been a real fun time doing it. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's been the Forbidden Juice podcast. It's your boy AD.
True function, what it is.
Yo, RJ.
And
something before we go. Can I say three things? Yeah, there's three things before we go. Big up Rwanda, yeah, for releasing the first African smartphone. You guys heard about this?
Okay.
Yeah. Got a line on it. Big up Jane Elliott because she does a lot she's a white woman, does a lot for the black community, trying to teach everybody about what racism is.
Nice. Oh, was it that old lady with the glasses?
Yeah.
She's sick.
Big up her.
Do you know white people absolutely hate her? She is sick.
Yeah. That's how I know she's invited to every cookout, fam.
Trust. If there's anybody, she is. Trust me. Trust me. If anybody is, like, she is. And Dr. Umar as well. Big up him. Like,
jeez, Umar Johnson. He's a polarizing guy.
He is.
Yeah, big up Dr. Umar.
But you know what? I'll big him up because he's trying to do what he can for the African Americans.
Yeah.
He's trying to do what he believes is right. And you can't always fault him because some of what he says, yes. Some of what he says, but at the end of the day, majority of what he's saying for the African American community is good because I feel like Americans, they need something else as well. Like, they need their own people to tell them, to be honest.
Yeah, bro. Like, Umar Johnson's one of them where Like you've got certain guys. I don't want to say names, bro, because it
Polite.
might get me in trouble later, fam.
What,
But
brother Polite?
who?
Polite? You're not
I've never
on
heard of him. Who that?
Oh, okay. I mean, it'd be pointless to explain it, but he's like another Umar, but different.
Nah, not even another I was gonna go the complete opposite way. Like you got certain guys who speak, and you tell them to shut up because it's just like, bruv, you're clearly being a coon right now, sort of thing. Like, just shut up. And then you've got Umar Johnson, who's like, bro, shut up, fam. It's not every day. It's not every day conspiracy, fam. Just
Yeah, some of what he's going, but then some of what they're saying, yeah, it just sounds far fetched. But it's like, man, that's why I said though. Anyway, yeah, we finished. I'm not gonna say anymore.
Yeah. That's the discussion for another time. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the Forbidden Juice podcast. Your hosts are out. Deuces.
Peace.
Kawaii.